All right, in 110, we're going to plot a triangle ABC. When you're plotting, don't forget that it's X and then Y. So we go left or right first, and then we go up or down to plot. So when we're plotting point A, we're going to go 2 to the right. So start at the center, which is your origin or 0, 0. And so we're going to go 2 to the right because it's a positive 2, and then we're going to go up 1. So this should be point A. I like to label my points, so I'm going to say that's A at 2, 1. Then we've got B at 211. So once again, we're going to start at the origin right here, and then I'm going to go 2 to the right, and then up 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which would be this spot. So that's my B. And once again, I like to label my points. And then we have C, which is at 8, 11. So once again, I'm going to start down here at my origin, and then I'm going to go this way, 8, count to my right. So we've got 8, and then 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 right here. And so that's my C value. And I'm going to like to label. So now let's go ahead and connect all of my points here. So now we have triangle ABC. And so let's write in all of the information that we know so far. So we can figure out the height of the triangle by just counting, how tall it is right here. So if we do that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this length is going to be a length of 10 from point A to point B. And then from point B to point C, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 here. Now, if we wanted to figure out the length of the hypotenuse, which is this side right here, we'll call it X, we can use the Pythagorean theorem for that. So we would say, don't forget in your Pythagorean theorem, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The C value has to be your hypotenuse, so I like to plug in my hypotenuse value first, which is X. And then your legs that make up your right angle, those are always going to be your A and your B, and you can interchange those. I'm going to go ahead and do 6 squared for my A, and then my B squared is 10 squared. So if we continue to solve, 6 squared is 36, 10 squared is 100. I don't know X squared yet. Now I can go ahead and add those values together. So we've got 136 is equal to X squared. And then we need to find the square root of those. The square root of 136 would be 11.66. So that would be the value of X. Which we didn't need, but hey, there you go. So we didn't need that value actually. That would be for the length of AC, and it did not ask us for that. So, but now at least you have practice. Let's figure out what we do need. We need to know the measure of angle A, which is down here, angle A. So we want to know the measure of this angle. So what we can do is we can use an inverse trig formula to do that. So the 6 would be our leg, that's the opposite. And then the 10 would be our adjacent side. So that means we're going to want to use tangent inverse. So we would say the tangent inverse, the opposite over the adjacent, and we would plug that into our calculator. So you would have to hit second the tangent button, 6 divided by 10, and then that would give us 30.96. So that would be the angle measure. So that would be the measure of angle A. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in, 30.96 degrees. All right, so now we also need to find the measure of angle B. Well, that one's easy. That's our 90-degree angle because your x-axis and your y-axis are 90-degree, are perpendicular to each other. For C, we are going to need to use the inverse trig functions again. So I'm going to use angle C as this purple angle here. we need to figure out what that one is. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the opposite and the adjacent values, and let's find them all over again from angle C here. So for angle C, the 10 would now be our opposite, and then the 6 would be our adjacent side this time, so it would switch. So now we're just going to have to do the inverse tangent again, but this time our opposite is 10 on top divided by 6 on the bottom. So let's go ahead and type that in our calculator. Second tangent, 10 divided by 6. That would give us the measure of angle C, which would be 59.03. And so now we found all of the angle measures. Now we need to find the area. Well, first of all, let's make sure that we understand that the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So if we plug in the values, our base would be 6 times our height is 10 divided by 2. So 60 divided by 2 would give us an area of 30 units squared. Uh, 111, we need to use the triangle sum theorem for this one, but we also need vertical angles. I would actually use, let's use vertical angles first. Right now we know that these two angles must be equal to each other. So I'm going to say this is 23x minus 2 as well. These two angles are supplementary, so they must add up to 180. So 180 minus 130 would leave us with a 50-degree angle right here. So now, I forgot my 0 for 50. So now all of my angles in this triangle should add up to 180. So I'm going to write an equation for that. So 10x plus 50 plus 2x minus 2 should equal 180 degrees. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve that. So I'm going to combine my like terms. I've got a 10x and I've got a positive 2x. So that's going to give me a 12x. Then 50 minus 2 would be my other like terms. So 50 minus 2 would give me a positive 48 equals 180. We'll continue to solve. We want to get rid of the 48 to get x by itself. Let's see, 180 minus 48 is going to be 132, and then we'll divide by 12. So we'll find x is 132 divided by 12, 11. So x is 11. All right, and then the last one. You were leaning a ladder against the wall to hang a banner in the gymnasium. The base of the ladder is 8 feet from the wall. Okay, so here's our wall to the gym. And then this is going to be our ladder, because this is how we would climb up our ladder to get to the wall. So I'm actually going to draw my ladder like this. Okay. Now, the ladder is 8 feet from the base of the ladder. So that means the bottom of the ladder to my wall is going to be 8 feet. So this line is 8. And it makes an angle of 40 degrees with the ladder and the floor. So the ladder and the floor would be 40 degrees here. How long is the ladder? So the ladder is our hypotenuse here. Draw a picture, done, label it, and then solve. So I've got it labeled. Now we are okay to solve it. So from this angle that they give us, the 40-degree angle, the 8 would be our adjacent side, and the x would be our hypotenuse. So if we were to think about our trig functions, sine, cosine, and tangent, we would want to use the trig function that uses the adjacent and the hypotenuse, which would be cosine. So we're going to say cosine of the angle measure that they give us equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse always goes on the bottom. I'm going to change my cosine into a fraction. I'm going to cross multiply. Now I can't really multiply x and cosine 40. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewrite it. X times cosine 40 equals 8 times 1, which is 8. Now, if I want to get the x by itself, the opposite of multiplying cosine is dividing cosine. So I'm going to divide cosine 40 on both sides now to get the x by itself. Now, when you type this in your calculator, notice that the 8 is on top of your fraction. So you're going to type in 8, then the division sign, and then cosine 40. And that will get you the answer. Let's try this. 8 times cosine 40. You should get 6.13. I rounded that 2 to a 3 because after the 2 is an 8. So 6.13 would be how long the ladder is. And that's in feet.